So this is another Stuff I Own and another James Bond figure from Big Chief Studios. In this case, it's Harold Sakata as Oddjob in Goldfinger. This, I would say, is a more accurate sculpt than the James Bond from Goldfinger. But then again, I'm not as, like, say, intimately aware of the facial features of Harold Sakata as I am of Sean Connery, so maybe I'm just not as aware of the different imperfections, but I think this one looks really good. So I'm just going to go through really quick the actor who played it, Harold Sakata. He was born in 1920, passed away in 1982. He was born in Hawaii, so he's an American citizen. Of Japanese descent, although Oddjob in the movie was Korean. He started young as a weightlifter. He competed in the 1948 London Olympics in weightlifting as a light heavyweight representing the U.S. He also was a pro wrestler, went under the name Tosh Togo. His build, height, and weight are 5'10", 220 pounds. Now, when I say build, because sometimes the pro wrestling will exaggerate, but I would assume he's somewhere in that vicinity. I think Sean Connery was like 6'2", 6'3", so of course he was going to be taller. But the GoldenEye video game that came out in, I believe, 1997 had him as kind of midget-sized. He was the antithesis of Jaws, who was incredibly tall, and that was really unfair to Harold Sakata, because Harold Sakata was actually a pretty big guy. So, but I don't know that it was not kind to him to make him so short, because he's not a short guy. Even if he's maybe not 5'10", he's probably within that vicinity. So one of the things about this figure that I think is pretty amazing, this is one of the absolute rarities who has a hat that fits on the head and looks good. So I'm going to pull it off. So there he is without the hat. And you could see almost every hat that I have pegs in or is carved out or something so that it fits on the head better. But this one actually legitimately sits on there. And so good job to Big Chief Studios. I love the expression. That's pretty much the expression he had. He had a very stoic expression. He never spoke in the movie. He made a grunt at one point or kind of a sound, but he never spoke. Harold Sakata actually had a surprisingly thick accent for someone who was born in the United States, so I assume he was raised very much in a Japanese community, even though he was an American citizen. So I love the suit. Great suit. This is one of the only, maybe the only figure I actually modified, and I will say the modifications, when I show it to you, are extremely subtle. Basically, I felt like his chest wasn't really like Harold Sakata's. He was very, very thickly built. So I just added some tissue in there just to kind of pad it out a little bit. So that's about as far as I go with modifications. Many people will make major modifications to their figures, even expensive figures, but not me. So yeah, I think this is a great sculpt, and really does look like Oddjob and Harold Sakata. In fact, Harold Sakata was so fond of the fact that he played this character that I guess in other films he would build himself as Harold Oddjob Sakata. So I guess that was very much a turning point in his life. And he had some commercials, and he did other films too, but they were generally very small films. So that is Harold Sakata by Big Chief Studios from James Bond Goldfinger.